Okay, we're going to start reviewing for Chapter 2 test on Thursday. So, on 1 through 4, we're finding the length indicated. On all of them, what does that blue line mean with a number under it?
Total.
It's the total length, right? So the total length's 12. One part's 9. How do we find the missing part?
12 minus 9 equals 3.
Yep, 12 minus 9 would get you 3.
I took my Addies today. Feeling good.
Midpoint. We have a formula for midpoint. Midpoint, everyone write it down. x1 plus x2 divided by 2. And y1 plus y2 divided by 2. And number 5, remember, plot your points. So we have x, y, x, y. Label them out so you know. Okay? So now it says we need to add our x's together. What are my x's?
1 and negative 6.
1 and negative 6. So 1 plus a negative 6. And then we divide by 2. And then we have, what are my y's?
5 and 5.
5 plus 5. What do we do with them? Divide by 2. Now you just have to evaluate those. What's 1 plus a negative 6?
Negative 5.
Negative 5 divided by 2. And then what's 5 plus 5?
10
5
by 2 equals 5.
10 divided by 2. Okay? If it does not divide out, you can write it as a decimal or you can just leave it as a fraction. So negative 5 over 2 or negative 2.5. And then 10 divided by 2 is 5. So that right there is your final answer. You do the same thing, same process for the other 3. Yeah? Okay, here is where we got to start reading very carefully. We got to know what angle they are specifically talking about. So, we want to find MGF. Where's MGF at? Start at M, go to G, go to F. So, we're looking for this angle right here. It says HGF, so HGF is 179.
There's no way.
And then it says HGM, which is here, is 144.
So what do you do? Just minus those, right?
Yep, so it gives you the whole thing and a part. So what do you do when it gives you a whole and a part?
So
Subtract. 179 minus 144 gives you...
35 degrees.
It is 35 degrees. Don't do 11 or 12. You won't have any of those on your test with algebra and those ones. Okay, but you are going to have 4 of those. Okay, so be careful which one they're talking about. Label them out. Okay?
Do you want us to write the angle too?
What?
Do you want us to write the angle?
What do you mean?
Well, for that one, it'd be a Q.
No, you don't have to do that on these. Nope.
All right.
Good question. So, like I did over here, I labeled them. I found MGF. I labeled it as X because that's what I'm looking for. And then I went and labeled what all the other ones equal. Yeah? So, go do that. So, be sure to read the directions carefully so you know what they are asking for. Do that. Here, these look a little funky, okay? And I know yours isn't colored like this one. So, it says each triangle has an angle bisector. The bisector is what splits 1 and 2. What do you know about a bisector?
Half.
Splits it in half, right? So, again, we have to read carefully. We want to find ACB. ACB. And it says measure of angle 2 is 60. If we know measure of angle 2 is 60, what's measure of angle 1?
60.
Same thing because it split it in half, right? And now we want to find ACB, the whole thing. How do we find the whole thing?
120.
Add them together. 60 plus 60 gives you 120. We good with the angle bisectors? Just make sure you read directions carefully. Here, let's talk about this. We're going to name their relationship. What does complementary mean?
Complement.
What degree measure is complement? 90. Yep. Complementary is 90. What is linear pair?
On the same line.
What's a linear pair? On the same line, what's the degree measure of a linear pair?
180.
180. Yep. Same line on the same side. What do we know about vertical angles?
Across.
They're across from each other on opposite sides of the straight line. Also, what else do we know about vertical angles? What do we know about their measures? They're the same. Yep. Adjacent, what does adjacent mean?
Right next to each other.
Right next to each other.
Makes them one.
So it's not, if it's not complementary and it's not a linear pair, it's adjacent. All right. So on 17, what do you notice about 17?
It's
The right
complementary.
angle.
It's a right angle, so what does that mean?
Complementary.
90.
90, so it would be complementary.
We just write what it is.
Yep, all you got to do on these is just write what it is. So if it has a little red box, that means 90, automatically complementary. We'll do all 4 of these together. What about 18? I'm going to find a straight line. Do those 2 angles make up the whole straight line?
No.
No.
Adjacent.
Are they vertical?
No.
Nope, they're on the same side. Are they complementary?
No.
How are they not complementary?
Because they don't make up 90 degrees.
They don't have a 90-degree angle signature. Yep.
So
So the
They're
last
adjacent.
option would be adjacent. Because they're right next to each other. 19, find our straight line. What do we notice?
They're on the same side.
They're on the same side, so what does that mean?
They're a linear pair.
Linear pair.
Ear.
20, A and B. Here's our straight line. Are they on the same side?
No, they're vertical.
They're right across from each other from the intersection, so that means they are
vertical.
vertical angles. Yep. Are we good with vocab there? All right, now we're going to apply those. Okay, I still want, it doesn't say name the relationship, but it really helps if you figure out what the relationship is first before you try and solve it. Okay, so on 21, what's the relationship here?
Complementary.
Complementary, what does complementary mean?
90.
90. So how do we find measure of angle B? The whole thing's 90. Yep. Gives us a
54 minus
part.
90
So
degrees.
90 minus 54 gives you 36. And then don't forget degrees. If you don't have a degree symbol on the test, bad, bad, bad.
Like you're kind of wrong.
I'll count a point.
So 90 minus 31.
Yep, that number 22, same thing. They're complementary. 90 minus 31. I'm going to move on to the next side.
Okay. Let's go.
Here, you're not going to have one like 23 on the test, so go ahead and cross that one out.
Let's go.
24, what's the relationship here?
Linear
Here's my
pair.
straight line. Why is it a linear pair?
Because it's on the same side of the line, it makes up a whole 180 degree angle.
Yep, so what do we know about, you just said it, what do we know about linear pair?
Or make a whole 180 degree angle.
180, so if we have 180,
Minus 28.
yep, and we want to find the other part, we do 180
42.
minus 28,
Would be 142.
which equals
32.
152. What are you missing?
Degrees.
Degrees. Yep. All right, let's talk about 25 and 26. So, still say what the relationship is. Okay, we have a straight line here.
Linear pair.
Why is it a linear pair?
Because they're on the same line, make up a whole 180 degree angle.
Yep, and what do we know about those 2 angles?
They're not the same.
They're not the same, but what do they add up to?
180.
180, so how can we set up an equation to solve for x?
180
44.
minus 41.
We know, not
Oh.
minus, we know them together make up 180.
So plus 6x plus 4 equals 180.
Yep, good. We know that both of those angles add up to equal 180, so that's how we set it up. So now we just solve. What's our first step for solving for x?
Minus
Like
44.
pairs.
Do like terms first.
Yeah, that
So we
one.
have 44 plus 4 is what?
48.
48 plus 48 equals 180. What's my next step?
Minus 48.
Yep, subtract 48. 6x, what's 180 minus 48? I'll help you out. It's 132.
Divide
What's
by
our
6.
last step?
Divide by 6.
Divide by 6, x equals 22. That's it. You don't have to plug it in or anything, you just got to get what x equals.
Let's go.
Okay? We'll do the last one together. Angle relationship here. Here's my straight line.
They're vertical.
Why are they vertical?
They're right across from each other.
Right across from each other, and you know they're not on the same side, so they are vertical. What do we know about vertical angles?
They're the same.
They're the same, so how do we set this up to solve for x?
2x plus 1 equals 47.
Yep, does everyone understand that?
Yes.
So they are the same, so we set them equal to each other. Now we just solve for x. What's my first step? Subtract 1 on both sides. So 2x equals 46, and my last step would be to divide by 2. So x equals
23.
23. That's it.
Okay.
On any of those pages, do you guys have anything else you want me to go over or review?
What a coincidence. Look, 22